Hello, welcome to All the Gear Some Idea, the next instalment on the Peugeot 205. You join me from my shed today. I'm here with the cylinder head. As I said in the last video, we're going to start stripping the cylinder head down and polishing the ports. So going to get on with that today. Obviously, we've got the engine painted now, as you would have seen in the last episode. And today, we're going to start tackling the cylinder head. I've taken the camshaft out of it already. As you can see, the camshaft is now taken out. There's no cam pulley here. We just need to take the valves out now, and then we'll crack on with the actual ports. So we've got a little Dremel that George has kindly lent us, and yeah, going to get in there and just polish those rough surfaces up in those holes once the valves are removed. We've got a selection of Dremels, so sorry, it's more carbide burr pieces, not Dremels. So yeah, I've got this selection off of Amazon. Got loads of different bits in there. So hopefully we'll be able to get some nice smooth surfaces in the ports with those. Obviously the purpose of that is, for those of you that don't know, is to make the flow through the cylinder head more smoother and quicker. Because obviously the quicker you can get air and fuel in and out of the engine, the more power it will produce. So I'm not necessarily going to make these bigger. Some people will make the ports bigger. I'm not going for that. I'm just wanting to smooth the surface because inside these ports it will be like almost like rough sandpaper inside there, just from the casting process, and they don't get smoothed out from the factory. Yeah, so going to crack on with that. I'm going to put the video on a time lapse whilst I take the valves out, and then I'll come back to you once I've got all the valves out, and we're going to start clearing out ports. Awesome. Right then, guys. So yeah, we'll check my mic's still on. Yeah, it is. All the valves are out now. They've all been spring compressed. All the springs are here in the little pot. I've got the collets and the caps inside this, and all the valves. Obviously, it's important to make sure the valves go into the same hole that they came out of, just for like engineering tolerances, and obviously the level of wear it may differ from cylinder to cylinder. So yeah, as I say, it's always best practice to put the original ones back in the original hole. I am going to relap these valves in anyway, so it's arguably not as important, but yeah, it's just something I've always done, so I'm going to do it anyway. Numbered them all, cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the bigger ones are the inlet, and the smaller ones are the exhaust pipes. So that's those. Now we can see into the actual ports themselves. So yeah, you can see daylight through there now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the camera and show you inside the ports. Right then, so yeah, you can see inside, that's the inlet port on cylinder 1. As you can see the rough surface inside that channel there. That's what we're aiming to get rid of. So all of those little lumps and bumps, I want to get a shot of those. I might take the cap or the end off of the valve guide as well. I might not. Depends how brave I'm feeling. It's much the same in the exhaust, but you can't really see it at the moment because it's quite sooty. So yeah, as you can see, all of the inlet valves, all the same. All got that lumpy and bumpiness about them. So yeah, we'll be doing our best to eradicate that in just a second. But first of all, I'm going to give the head a bit of a clean with some brake cleaner, and yeah, once we've done that, I'll start carrying out the polishing. See you in a bit. Just before I forget, guys, is the another reason, obviously, the original reason I took the valves out is to replace these oil stem seals. So, sorry, valve stem oil seals. So obviously the valves come through the head and poke through these holes, and these are little rubber seals that sit on the end of the valve guides. Obviously, because I'm carrying out this much work on the engine, I'm in here, so I'm going to change these seals. They usually come as part of like a head gasket set, or you can buy them separately. You just pull the original ones off with some pliers and then tap the new ones on with like a 10mm socket or whatever fits around the little metal collar around the edge there. So yeah, a little bit of grease on the inside, tap them on, and yeah, you're good to go. If I've got time, I will show you that as part of this video. But yeah, if not, I'm sure there's another video on YouTube that will show you how to do it. Right then guys, so I've actually had to move outside now because the extension lead, I've got the old trusty lawnmower orange lead, isn't quite long enough to fit to reach the shed at the back of the garden. So yeah, we're outside on the garden table, as you do. Got the Dremel ready to go. Is it even working? I'll slow that down a little bit, I think. A bit too fast. Yeah, so yeah, the head's here ready to go. Just there. I'm going to lean the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Right. And let's see what we can do, shall we? Right then guys, I'm going to try and show you now what it is we're trying to achieve, because I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, you'll be able to see it that well on the camera. So looking at the head now, I've started on inlet port on cylinder 1. You look down in there, all of the lumpy and bumpiness is ground off, and then if you look on cylinder 1, it's a fair amount smoother. Admittedly, it's not as good as it could be. I might go through it with a stone afterwards just to smooth it out. Got loads of little bits that George's lent us with it, so I might go through it with a little bit of sandpaper or something afterwards. That might make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, you can see the general consensus starting to get through, and I'll go through the other bits as we come through the other side. We'll get to the other bits through the other belt where the plough sits, just where my finger is now, just over there. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with the others now, and I'll come back to you when they're all done. Right then guys, so we've done some port polishing-ish. Some of it looks great, some of it looks not so great, but I have managed to open up some areas in the inlet ports and the exhaust ports. So yeah, it looks a little bit rough in places, but the general consensus of the idea was there. I'm also giving the head a good clean on the face and everywhere else. And now in the process of lapping in, or relapping in the valves. So I've done the inlets on cylinders 1 and 2 and exhaust valve on cylinder 1. I'm glad I did do it, because I'm currently doing the exhaust valve on cylinder 2, and you can see there's some very slight pitting on that valve, and obviously the more it means I'm going to have to spend a bit more time lapping it in to get rid of those high spots. But yeah, kind of glad started to do that, because it may have affected compression or the sealing of the valve. So yeah, relapping in the valves as we speak. Right then, guys, so you join me next day. The weather's taking a bit of a turn, unfortunately. It's a bit wet out there. It's currently just drizzling, so I think I'm going to get away with assembling the engine underneath the tree. But due to the weather, I'm probably not going to film it, because I don't want the camera to get too wet and stuff. So the next time you see us will probably be with the engine in, or going in, because I'm going to try and get a time lapse of that engine on the crane, yada yada yada, all the nooks and crannies going together, and then the first startup. So yeah, that should be the next video. Exciting stuff. Yeah, I'll just show you what the cylinder head looks like now, because I put the valves back in. Yeah, so here is the cylinder head. You can see I did have a go at the ports with a sanded wheel after the carbide bits, and it has smoothed them up quite considerably compared to what they did look like. Much the same on the other side. Yeah, I'm about to put the camshaft in now, as you can see just here. Another cam from Newman Cams, thanks to Dan ST Engineering. When it comes to putting the bike carbs on and the inlet manifold, I've also got an inlet manifold from Dan ST Engineering. So yeah, big shout out to them for providing us with a freshly built manifold. So yeah, you'll get a good look at that in the next video. Yeah, but apart from that, I'm going to leave this video here. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Drop us a comment. Any publicity is good publicity in my eyes. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching All the Gear Some Idea.